Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, folks. So happy to be here. So excited to have everyone back at Kadena Campfire, call number 29. My name is Tyler Benster. I'm the tech adoption lead here at Kadena Eco. I had to miss last week with all of you, but couldn't miss 2 weeks in a row. My voice is a little bit like a frog has climbed in there. So I'll try not to grate on your ears too much, but fortunately, we have 3 amazing guests with us here today. I'm going to bring them up onto the stage. We have Jussi, Pekka, and Mika Ville from UNITT. Hello, welcome.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
So great to have you all here. We're going to dive into UNITT and do a deep dive, do a lot of interaction with the community, a lot of AMA style questions. But first, I want to follow our usual format, give a few updates from the Kadena side of things, and then we'll jump into some pre-asked Q&A. So first up, Tech Bulletin number 5 has been released. We'll have a link down there shortly, which provides a short technical overview of ledger integration, Pact 4.8, Chainweb Stream, launch of the alpha version of Kadena Client. The Pact course is ready. That's pretty exciting. And GitHub, of course, now supporting syntax highlight for Pact. Huge news for developers and for discoverability of Pact code on GitHub. And finally, Chainweb 2.2. So definitely check out that Medium post. A lot of amazing information and new updates in progress there. Second, Randy shared a sneak peek of the upcoming Super Connectors app by Various. Not to be confused with the recent superconductors LK99, which was not a thing. Our superconnectors are legit and for real. So go check those out. Check out the Twitter thread below. And next up, well, this is a pretty topical news item. UNITT has been added as an official grantee. We have a full project spotlight link down below. But don't worry about reading that now, because you have the UNITT folks with us right here, right now, and you'll be able to debrief with the Medium post after. Really, really excited. We've been talking to UNITT for quite some time. It's been a project I've been really excited about for a long time, and so excited that we have now officially introduced them into the Kadena Eco grant fam, and just super excited to see all the progress that they've been making and where they're going to go from here. 2 last updates for everyone here before we jump into the meat of our topic today with UNITT. Dev Experience Update number 7 is out. This is talking conferences, this is talking Marmalade v2, and this is talking updated docs. So check out that update down below. I'll have a link there shortly. Possibly. There it is. Thank you, Matteo. Incredible. And finally, we have a little bit of a sneak peek here. A new chief marketing officer with tons of experience to take Kadena's marketing to the next level is also coming to the Campfire soon. So stay tuned for that. That'll be a fantastic Campfire and session. Looking forward to hosting that. Without further ado, that's all the updates I have on the Kadena side of things for folks. Why don't we start by getting a small introduction for each of our speakers on stage here. Would love to hear just a little bit about your own personal backdrop and how you came to be at UNITT.
All right, cool. I'm so sorry, Tyler. You really sound a little bit like having a little bit bad time. So I don't know how's the weather there right now, but it's autumn or fall, as you say in America, and everybody seems to have the flu. I got it like last week. So hello, everybody. My name is Pekka Mäkelä, and I'm sort of the team leader, and you could call me the original founder of UNITT. My original background is actually in mechanical engineering, but most of my adult life I've been working with information technology, and I became aware of blockchain technologies somewhere about over 10 years ago, but unfortunately I didn't do anything about it. But there's always another chance, and this is where we jump into that train. So what I did, that I was a co-founder in a cybersecurity company called Signet Digital, and we made a encryption software for governmental and defense customers. And I wanted to know more about digital identities and trust networks and all these stuffs. And I also wanted to work more with like consumer-facing products instead of like boring government stuff. So after a few iterations with my esteemed colleagues here, we came up with the sort of the realization that to be truly sort of decentralized and ready for the future of internet, we need to tokenize basically everything. And this is sort of the genesis of our Universal Transaction Token project. And here we are.
Terrific.
So who's next? Should I go first? So my name is Jussi Mäkelä. The same name with Pekka is not coincidence. We are brothers. But my background is somewhat different. So I am responsible within the team more of the business planning, the strategic planning, and those kind of things. I am not from a technological background, more from a business background. So my previous career before starting in the UNITT or solely focusing on the UNITT since 2022, so last year. Before that, I worked in a UK headquartered diversified media and publishing company. I ran a different types of businesses there. The latest one was an industry association for a global telcos, for example. And before that, around 10 plus years ago, about 13 years ago, I was in investment banking in London until I saw the light and got out. And that's a sort of very brief background of me. So over to Mikko Ville.
Yeah, hi everyone. I've been working as a full stack developer for, I don't know, I guess must be closer to 25 years now. I don't really want to think about it. But I've been working with all kinds of projects from embedded systems, wearables, airline ticket sales, what have you. And actually, I've been partnering with another Jussi Mäkelä, who's the fourth person in our team who isn't here today. But yeah, we're keeping it very simple, even with names. Pekka came to me with. I was very sort of skeptical about crypto and blockchain, and didn't know much about it. But when Pekka came to me with his idea, I thought, well, I haven't done that before, so I started looking into the available technologies and how to implement the idea. And unfortunately, a friend of mine had mentioned Kadena a couple of years back, and so we already had a technology to implement that. But I mean, it's I'm not sure what else to say about my career, but it's been writing code, service design, UX design, all that. So I guess I'm in charge of most of the technical side, and also very opinionated about UX.
Right on. Yeah, I'll never forget the first live demo I saw that you guys gave. Was super impressive. Just to be like, whoa, you freaking have already built all of this. So yeah, definitely good technical prowess on the team. Very, very cool. I know we have a few pre-asked questions from Discord. And then, of course, we want to make as much time and space for folks in the community that are here with us live to ask questions. So would encourage people to ask any questions that you have in the chat as early as possible. The earlier that our questions are asked, the more likely we are to be able to get around to answering them. But first of all, to kick ourselves off, I'm just asking a general question, which is, could you tell me a little bit about what UNITT is? What is UNITT today, and what will UNITT be in the future?
Okay, so maybe I'll go first, and the colleagues can support me later on. So what we want to achieve is basically a tokenized payment system that could be used for chat-based interaction and content discovery and sales. So it is sort of related to social media, but we also wanted to bring something new that the decentralized Web3 systems can bring in and not just copy the platforms and what they are doing currently. So our first application is the UNITT instant messaging app, which enables users to basically monetize any kind of digital content from their own publishing platforms. You can, of course, exchange tokens with your friends and followers, but the main sort of like the business idea is that if you are creating and exchanging content, you can do that in a way that enables the content delivery directly and to inside the chat. And this means that you can actually also monetize fan engagement. If you have a lot of followers, you could do customer service. You could actually monetize AI chatbots and why not even paid search. We have done the UNITT instant messaging app already, so it's been on an open alpha, so some 30 plus people have been trying it out already, and our next step is to bring it to the mainnet so that we can start a stable beta trying out of the application. So that's basically it. Would you care to add something that I forgot maybe?
I think you sort of explained quite well what it is. I think that from a sort of like one of the main purposes is just to make it easier for people to monitor, especially creators, to monetize their content, to do whatever they want to do in terms of like making their money, because at the moment everybody's really reliant on various kind of platforms that tend to take quite a big of a share of the actual income that's made, and we just want to make it much more simpler, have this direct relationship, commercial relationship between a content creator and whoever consumes the content, or even an advertiser to whoever is the person whose attention the advertiser wants. All of these are small transactions of content of somehow, and UNITT enables that, and also enables it in the way that where the direction with which the value is transferred is agnostic. So an advertiser could be paying for somebody in order for that somebody to consume their content. That's what advertising is. They want to pay people to that they can see their content. Well, of course, if I'm a bloggist or a news outlet or whatever that might be, I want to be paid if people wants to read my stuff. So all of these use cases and in various forms can be done on UNITT.
Right on. So I see we have a couple interesting questions that have streamed in here. So first of all, from Laura Clatter. Love the idea. What do you think is the biggest use case for UNITT?
So would you used to like to go with that? Or
Sure. I think so at the moment we think that, and in order to keep the sort of the situation simple as at the moment, looking at kind of our beta launch, going with our MVP, it has to be something, normally people who are doing like a written content, so your bloggers, for example, even small time, whether they are like analysts or news outlets and all that. So that's what we see, simply because it is so hard to monetize your content. If you're trying to write something, make a living out of writing, obviously you have various subscription platforms which can be great, and we are not necessarily or not at all looking to displace or replace them, more like supplement them. But it's like, how do you make your money of all of these thousands and thousands of people who are potentially interested in your writings, interested in your stories? How do you actually make that happen? But I'm sure that because the platform is platform is not the right word, the technology, the ecosystem is so flexible in terms of like how you could do that. I'm sure we are going to see use cases that we didn't even think about, and we don't even think about at the moment, but what the users will eventually find.
Yeah, so I may add something. So at the moment, influencers and creators, they tend to have a sort of like a multi-platform strategy. So they might be doing a video blog on YouTube, and then they are driving their followers, their traffic to their Patreon or their Substack or some other publishing platform to monetize the same content and sort of like a value-added extras better. So what we think UNITT could work is that this is very easy way to get pay-per-view type of business for your content. So you could like have a YouTube channel, and then you could say to your followers that now I have this additional information or newsletter or whatever, go and buy it in UNITT. So we don't think that we are going to replace the platforms, just like Jussi said, but be a sort of like a value-added service that actually gives out better chances for the creators to monetize their content. And also for advertisers and brands who want to engage with their communities, UNITT might be a very good vessel for that they could like create meaningful one-on-one relationship with their individual followers and customers. So for instance, if I have a new product or some interesting information, I could share it with my followers and put a few tokens as an added bonus. So if you want to be looking at my content, I will give you a few tokens. So it's sort of the vice versa, the content creators business model that might work for advertisers and brands also.
And maybe to add, sorry, to sort of like going on, one of the things that why in instant messaging, for instance, is so interesting is that because it enables this kind of like a direct as well, is that you have like I get a ton of newsletters which are really good. They're really sort of value added and all that kind of things. Most of them is a sort of like, might be just the kind of like, summaries of stories or even somebody's just summarizing content and all that sort of thing. There's no way really of kind of compensating for the work that whoever puts the newsletter together is getting. But with UNITT you can, because they can just like, if I open the newsletter, I'll pay them something for that. So if you have enough followers and you get enough people to open your newsletters, that's the sort of like, that's the way that you can make it worthwhile kind of financially as well for you, without needing to have anybody kind of in the middle to orchestrate and curate and tax all of these activities directly between you and whoever you are messaging with. I think you're in mute. I can't hear you, Tyler.
I'm just trying to spare you all my voice. I am on mute. Thank you. Jad, what is the advantage that your product gains by operating on a blockchain rather than in a traditional manner?
Mikko Willer, do you want to take this?
Sure. I think what we're attempting to do is sort of like a pragmatic decentralization. So we decentralize that what is put on a blockchain, what is meaningful to be there. For example, if you publish content, we put it on blockchain rather than in a centralized database, because then you actually own your content that you have published. You own also the followers and that sort of stuff. So if somebody else wants to build a better platform to do this thing better, you can just take your stuff from the blockchain and take it over there, but try to take your stuff from Facebook, your contacts from Facebook or Twitter, that won't be so easy. So we want to be as transparent as possible and also have people own their creations and own their content. So that's why we want to decentralize that information.
Terrific. Thank you for that. From I like POW, I like proof of work. How do they plan to abstract away the layer one that they're on to onboard users?
Maybe I start with this one. So we've like when we look into different Web3 projects, there are like amazing stuff that are happening in the sphere, but the problem is that if we think about like crypto token enthusiasts and NFTs and gaming and metaverses and all these like buzzwords that are around Web3 at the moment, they are still, they are still quite niche in a way that they are not very sort of like a general mass adoption ready as such. So you need to have a lot of like enthusiasm and knowledge to start using them, and there are not that many projects that are actually like your regular consumer facing. So we think strongly that the onboarding and starting to use the application must be as much as you would have when starting to use a application in Web2, so that the onboarding must be like easy and seamless and not having too many different kind of steps to go through. So that's why we are building the UNITT app to be as closely, familiar to what you would have when you start using a regular Web2 application. So main ease of use is very important, and easy onboarding, and we don't want to bother the initial user about the facts that it's like a tokenized and you can actually own your tokens and so on.
Interesting idea from Granddad Jad here. Question for UNITT: do you have any plans to facilitate the distribution of research papers? Current methods of obtaining them are absolute scams and would be really valuable for the post-grad world.
Maybe
this is an excellent question. Jussi, you opened your mouth, so go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So great question, and absolutely. I think research paper business is one of these things that there's like, a couple of providers who, firstly, they charge you to load your papers onto their platform and doing the kind of review, and then they charge you, when you're the researcher, they charge you again to actually access those same papers and all that. I think that could be, and it's something that on a previous project that we've been working on, kind of at the sort of like the European level, the sort of same thing has come up again, is that there is this opportunity for a research papers to be distributed on this way without having to sign up to a subscription kind of academic research paper subscription programs that cost literally thousands and thousands a year. Well, maybe it's a question to you, Tyler, as well. Like, well, what would be your insight on that? But we think that it would be absolutely a excellent idea to include.
Yeah, I mean the scientific publishing model has some real, true, deep flaws, and it's not working for everyone. It's broken and it needs to be fixed. Everyone recognizes this. The question is, how do you fix in a systemic or a systematic problem? And I agree that going to some kind of more pay-per-view style model, where the institution was sort of bankrolling what the researchers were looking at, would be one way to try and take the power away from these entities that are centralized, these journals, and bring it back to the individual authors in some capacity. So yeah, I think it's interesting to think about, and I think that there's technical solutions, and then there's sort of social implementations of those technical solutions. And the real challenge in science and in DeSci in general is, how do you overcome that sort of social momentum around the brand name recognition and the power that Elsevier has and that sort of thing. But I am all for folks trying new models, and particularly in certain subfields like machine learning or computer science. That seems to be a place where, like cryptography, not only are they more excited about blockchain and more savvy, but there might be certain subfields that would be more likely to adopt it initially. So yeah, I think it's an interesting idea, and I'd love to see something like that come to fruition.
Yeah.
From KDA Minor, does UNITT currently have any partnerships or content creators that they're working with?
The answer is, the short answer is unfortunately no. So we are a pretty young project, and we have been going like technology first. We know that in crypto space, a lot of projects, they first, create a community, and then they issue a coin, and then they start thinking about the technology. We have taken the old-fashioned way, in a way that we wanted to build something that's working first, and then thinking about the go-to-market. But that question is also excellent in a way that that's part of our go-to-market, that we would like to engage with those kind of like influencers and content creators that already have some kind of a community, and which would be interested in monetizing their creations better and more efficiently by offering UNITT as a one way to engage with their content.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, see an idea down below from No Crypto around imagine the work environment and engagement in a group using UNITT, sharing ideas, etc. Yeah, some people dreaming with you here, and so I think that's the beauty of crypto too, right? And the beauty of sort of how tokenomics help accelerate project adoption is you can find your own internal advocates at different organizations and work with community to identify some of the most powerful initial applications. So maybe I'll jump over to a more technical question right now from Windfair. What is the biggest problem on Chainweb right now, and what are you guys doing to fix it if there are any problems?
I think that's probably for you.
That would be the Kadena devs, I think. But I don't see big problems with Chainweb. I think it's a wonderful technology compared to something like Ethereum. So I'm like super happy. It was like a fortunate it was a fortunate event that I knew about Kadena, because a lot of people at least here haven't even heard of Kadena, and we had started building this on like Ethereum or something, it just wouldn't have worked. I guess, I mean, the problem when we started was that there wasn't so much like learning material, but now even that's been rectified. So there's like a lot of tutorials and example code and that sort of stuff, and discussion groups and what have you available. So it's all the time more easy to get started with Chainweb. So I think, I mean, there are obvious things that are like inherent in blockchain technology, like the transaction times and that sort of things. But then you just have to work with that. Maybe that will be solved in the future at some point, but you just have to find sort of like pragmatic ways to handle that and make the user experience as smooth and quick as possible. So yeah, I'm not sure what would be the biggest problem, but I don't see any like major problems at the moment.
Great, thanks for the answer. Another question from Discord by I Like Pow. How does UNITT plan to take users from other crypto-based platforms in Cryptosphere or other Web2-based platforms such as Patreon that are used by both Web2 and Web3 natives?
Maybe thanks for the question. It's a relevant question. And the short, very simple answer is that it doesn't necessarily, we don't have to take people away. They are not mutually exclusive. This is a little bit what Pekka was explaining earlier, that you already have, if you are, making a living out of media, you are some kind of a creator, whether it's blogs or you're an influencer or whatever that might be, that you will have this kind of like multi-platform that you have to utilize anyway. So we don't necessarily want to take away and we wouldn't even take away from the Patreons or other subscription platforms. It's more like the question is that If you think about something like a Substack, for instance, or Medium, you can join the creator programs, or Patreon is the one. So basically, that is about getting people to subscribe to you or subscribe to the platform, and then you share the income and all that. But the issue is that you have a one, if you're lucky, 10% of your followers or readers, your consumers, whatever you want to call them, might be paying for subscription. Probably most likely people will see more closer to 1%. That basically means that there's 99% of people who are interested in the stuff that you write. There's no way for you to kind of help monetizing them apart from selling adverts, and that is a very difficult and very unlucrative and so forth, and doesn't necessarily work even for the consumers as well. So it's really about that. This is a method for everybody to be able to monetize that the other 99% effectively. So it's not so much about taking away anybody from anybody else's platform or service or anything like that. It is just bringing more opportunities for the actual consumers and for the actual creators to make a living of something which they are good at doing and which they love to do.
Perfect. I have one last pre-asked question from Discord that I wanted to get to from Western Monk. How will the marketing campaign look in the upcoming fall?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure if this is actually, when I looked at this question in the Discord channel, I thought that this was for Kadena.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'll answer that one first then. Yeah, and then I'll turn over to you in terms of marketing.
But it's also a relevant question for us. And what we are doing right now is that we have closed the open alpha testing. So the people that have tried it out, and it's still available for you to try out, but we have sort of like asked, we have disseminated a questionnaire and collected some data and insight from the users themselves, and we are like closing down the alpha testing version, and we are going towards the stable beta. So we will try to engage with the community and invite people, all of you who are watching, perhaps to join the alpha, the beta program by giving us your going to our website or following us on Twitter and so on, and we will take it from there, sort of like organically and gradually, and let's see how it will work out.
Awesome. And if anyone wants to post the link for the website, the alpha, or the Twitter, we'll definitely put that down below here in a moment. Saw two interesting questions from the live chat that I wanted to scroll back and find. I have found one of the two. Very good. From Superman. How could a company like YouTube or Rumble utilize UNITT?
That's easy. Yeah, good question. You should say something.
No, I think that YouTube or a Alphabet with the $200 billion revenue, probably over $200 billion revenue, probably have a pretty good thing going on already. However, the people who actually create content, for instance, in a place like YouTube, it's very simple. You can also use a YouTube link or any other kind of a video sharing platforms or anything like that through our Discovery or through the messaging instant messaging app as well. So assuming that you have your followers, you have your latest video before you make it public, you can distribute that through UNITT for payment. Like we said earlier, we are completely agnostic to the platform. It's your video. It's stored wherever you want to store it, provided it obviously works on standards that are universally accepted in there, that we can show that. you can put it in that way, and you can sell access to your videos that way. So it's a sort of very simple way to do that, and where you are not reliant on the advertising campaigns and all that sort of thing. And if you then later wants to make it kind of public as well, it's up to the users. We don't get involved in any. We don't want to be kind of a dictating terms to anybody how they want to do that.
I love that. Yeah, that's the permissionless nature of blockchain, right? That why ask for permission from the big guy and do some long, impossible biz dev process when you can, build and support what's already there and offer new functionality.
And maybe if I just can add on that as well, and it sort of relates to the previous questions as well, around why blockchain. One of the things to remember and think as well is that most of the people in this world actually don't have access either as consumers or as consumers to, for instance, credit cards. They can't. If I'm a consumer in most part of the world and I want to subscribe to some sort of content, I can't because I don't have a credit card. I'm not in the payment system. My country where I live is not in the payment system. Or the same thing if you are in as a creator in most part of the world. So you still only bank accounts. There's a quarter of this world, over 2 billion people of this world who don't even have a bank account. So how can they be then part of this creator economy of the digital economy, where they don't have access to the current payment systems and credit cards, and they are not part of large corporations that, for obvious reasons, try to focus on, the wealthy, rich Western countries that are part of all of these systems and all that. So through a service such as UNITT, they can be part of it. They can start to monetize. And this is, again, the sort of power that a blockchain does it, because you don't have a administrator and bureaucrat at the end of it deciding who gets what and how should be distributed. That's what all of this enables, and that's what we want to be part of as well, enabling.
Right on. Yeah, no, that was very, very well said. We have time for maybe one or two more questions. I'm scrolling back. I know I saw a couple others that I wanted to get to. Okay. We'll jump down to this one from No Crypto here. Could UNITT in future rapidly shut down and stop monetizing, or how will that look in a decentralized world? So I imagine what he's talking about here is, YouTube has infamously changed the terms of their payments quite a lot, right? It used to be you could get paid out with, 16 cents, and then it became you had to reach a threshold of, $100 or whatever it is to get paid out. And now there's all this sort of weird stuff of, when ads are shown and when you can monetize and when you get credit for those ads and when you don't. So yeah, what's the deal? Can UNITT sort of pull the rug out from under the creators in the future, or how will that work on the protocol level?
So good question. And the answer is no. Because of it is a decentralized blockchain solution, you own your content, you own your tokens, and you own your social graph, your own connections and friends, that is. So basically, if we would cut out the application, the stuff would be still there around to be utilized in some other service provider or service. So that's part of the the nice the good part of blockchain is that you actually take ownership of your identity, your data, your tokens.
Tyler, you're muted again.
Right on. Thank you for the tip. I'm scrolling through here. If anyone has a question that I've missed, please feel free to repost it, just so it's down at the bottom of the chat and easy to jump to. I did want to ask a little bit more of a future-facing question, which is, well, first, I'd love to hear a little bit more about the upcoming beta and what people could expect then. But then I'd love to hear a little bit more about where you see UNITT in a year and in 5 years. So maybe we could ask them those 3 time horizons. What could people expect at the beta? What might we imagine for 1 year from now, and what might we imagine for 5 years from now?
If I may start there, the basically we are recreating all the features that we already have in the alpha version. But since the alpha version it's running on Pact, but it's been run on our like a centralized server, so it has been able to do stuff very quickly and seamlessly. But now that we are migrating to the actual mainnet, we have faced some challenges in recreating the instant user experience that we have had in the alpha version. So that is something that we are working currently a lot, so that the experience will be very similar than in the alpha version. So that's the sort of the first step, and I think that we have come up with a nice solution for that, and it will be very interesting to see how it will actually work out in the truly decentralized environment when we can go to the stable beta. So that will be very interesting. Of course, looking more farther to in 1 year or 5 years, we have a roadmap of interesting stuff that we could also do in the UNITT app. We might integrate some third-party innovations, like we've already been talking with the amazing Amir with Kadena, how like NFT type of, for instance, you could like create your own avatar as an NFT, or you could exchange NFTs in the UNITT app and so on. These kind of additional services are something that we are looking into. But in a more like a larger business-wise, the biggest challenge, of course, is to get the token launched, have to get funded in a longer run, and so on. So these things are something that we are working right now, and I would also like to invite the community to help us in a way that we are very keen to looking at different kind of like tokenization models, and it would be nice to know and hear what the community thinks like a good tokenization might look like, and these kind of things. The true challenge will be, of course, the adoption. I think that even like it is, UNITT can be a very like useful and a nice tool for smaller communities, but of course we are looking for the larger audiences and the larger world, and I think that adoption of UNITT would also be very beneficial for Kadena, as we all know that it is a blockchain that is planning to or is sort of like designed to be able to handle like the real world big problems, IoT, logistical chains, and so on. So we would like to be, of course, the first like a mainstream adoption application in the Kadena blockchain.
And if I can add something about the beta version, of course, we're going to support iOS, which wasn't available for alpha. That's a big thing, and then I would like to see some like improvements in the UX and sort of the whole experience, which is, of course, when you're building something new, you never know exactly how people are going to use it and what kind of like user experience they're looking for. What features are the sort of the main features and what are the secondary features. So we're all the time trying to sort of develop those and design those more. So definitely would like to see something happening there as well. And there's been some really nice projects coming out with Kadena, like Koala Wallet, for example, which has a really, really great UX experience. So all the time we're looking into other projects, what we can learn from them and upgrade our UNITT experience.
Terrific. Well, that's a really lovely note, I think, to end on. But before we part ways, I'd love to open the floor up to see if anyone has any last words that they'd like to leave the community with today.
So awkward silence where and
Any last words?
We Finns are very fine with that. So yeah, I would like first of all it's been an amazing experience with the community. So I think the Kadena community is like very nice, and all the people are super friendly, and all the cooperation between projects has been amazing. So until so far, we've had an amazing ride, and we are very much looking forward of continuing this journey together.
Wonderful. Well, congrats again on the grant. So delighted to see some of the announcements of the project coming out to the wild. And I know that folks here seem to be really excited about what you're up to, and want to thank the Kadena fam, the Kadena crew, for all the incredible questions and engagement. Really thoughtful engagement, I think, in general. So very insightful questions, and thank you so much for that. Excited to see everyone back at Kadena Campfire next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks for having us.
A surprise last announcement that there is a after party in 5 minutes hosted by Kadena Mining Club. So be sure to check out the after party spaces on X, formerly known as Twitter. Very good. Bye again.